Now they understand. The mics are on. I got two people at the other land trying to. Okay, who are they, Dina? Chris Phone and Dan Bell. Loading Dave's girl and the ball right now.
Great.
I forgot to use me, because there may be a delay, but sorry. That's why I set it for 2 hours, but yeah, there is a delay.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. We're just going to get started in another minute or so. Just making sure anyone who went to the other link, the old link, is redirected. Yeah, come keep us company over here.
Yeah,
Even though
I guess I didn't get the memo that people weren't coming in the meeting anymore. It's a sad day.
you're good.
We'll have you back at some point. Hi.
Hello, you're here, good.
I know, it's just to like talk about today.
Yeah, hi.
Oh, well, I thought that you were gonna beat me here because I had that meeting.
All right, well, I think we could go ahead and get started. We do have a quorum, so that's great. Thanks everyone for finding the new link and getting onto it. Let's go ahead and start off with introductions. And just a quick announcement for folks that are in the room. Actually, we have so few people today. I think we're okay. But generally, when there are more people here, I'd like people to state their name when they're saying something so that people on the Zoom can make sure they know who's speaking. Since we have two agencies represented in the room today, I think we're okay. But in the future, I think that'd be great practice. So with that, I'll start with introductions. I'm Dana Trey from the Sonoma County Transportation and Climate Authorities. I'll pass it off to Steph.
Good morning, Steph Britt, SCTCA.
Rachel Eid, Santa Rosa City Bus.
Emily Betts, Sonoma County Transit.
All right, and then let's go to members on Zoom. I will just call out each agency I see here, and if you could introduce yourselves. Let's start with Petaluma Transit.
Hi, Petaluma Transit, Maria RC here, Transit Manager. Good morning.
And then let's go to Golden Gate.
Hi, Golden Gate Bridge, Jessica Sandoval.
Also Jacob Brown with Golden Gate.
And Smart.
Zoe Enro with Smart.
And then let's go to the Amtrak.
Good morning, Dave Sorrell, San Joaquin Regional Rail Commission.
And then let's go to SCTCA staff.
Adam Garcia, SCTCA.
Ross Glendon, SCTCA.
Right. Did I miss anyone? Oh, sorry, Smart. No, I got you.
Dana, we have several, we have a few attendees
Okay.
in the attendee area. We have Camille Sullivan, Dan Bell, Chris Cohn, and David Liebman. Let me know if any of them need to be promoted.
If you could promote Camille Sullivan with Petaluma Transit, that'd be great.
She declined.
Okay. All right. Great. Let's go ahead and move on to public comment on items not on the agenda. If you are, have a comment and you are on the Zoom, please go ahead and raise your hand. All right, I am not seeing any. So let's go ahead and there's no public in the room. So let's go ahead and move on to approval of the meeting notes from July 8th.
I will move to approve.
Second. All right. I have a motion from Rachel Eid and a second from Emily Betts. Any opposed? All right. That passes. Let's move on to August and September service changes. So,
Dana, sorry, we need to do a roll call vote for that.
oh, okay. Apologies. We do need to do a roll call vote for approval of the meeting notes. Do you want me to do that?
You can do it if you'd like, if
Okay.
you think you can.
I will just do a roll call vote for each agency. I'll start in the room. Santa Rosa,
Yes.
Sonoma County,
Yes.
Petaluma,
Yes.
Golden Gate,
Yes.
Smart. Thank you. And Zoe, I don't hear you, but I saw your come off mute and I saw your mouth moving. I still can't hear you. Okay. Okay, let's move on to item number 4. This is August and September service changes. We have a number of changes that went into effect this week, and then some additional changes coming up in September. So just wanted to kind of have a space to share these updates here. The updates are summarized in a staff report, and I know that there were maybe a couple tweaks that need to be discussed about what was in the staff report. So I'm just going to pass it around to each operator with service changes. And let's go ahead and start with Sonoma County Transit. Emily, if you have anything you want to call out or summarize there, that'd be great.
Sure. I'm just looking at our website because I don't have the full packet in front of me here. Let's see. What's this? Okay. Most of these were minor changes. We did take there's a segment of the Route 30 that was an extension to Credo and SSU that we renamed the 36 just for legibility. And so we're promoting that to the parents now. The 40 was our biggest change. The 40 runs between Petaluma and the city of Sonoma. And so we changed it from being a service that was sort of scattered through the day to being a peak hour service that's timed to the SMART train. And I do not have any ridership information for that yet. It just started on Monday. So that will be interesting to see if people choose to ride that service. The Route 66, which is our, excuse me, Windsor circulator, we moved a few stops to just straighten out the route a little bit. We're trying to improve the on-time performance, and there were some safety concerns there. And then other than that, I think it was all just, gosh, minor changes related to school starting. Yeah, so that's it.
Great. Thank you, Emily. And there is a flyer for the Route 40X attached to the staff report. All right. Maria, would you like to give an overview of the Petaluma Transit service changes that just went into effect?
Yeah, thank you so much. So August 10th, Monday, we did our large schedule updates. And there are some information in the packet, but I wanted to kind of go over a few of them and to just to tell you what the anecdotal response has been. So Petaluma Transit did reduce service to Monday through Friday for our fixed and paratransit service from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. For our evenings and weekends, we're utilizing Access, which is the next phase of our pilot with microtransit. So it's Access by LumaGo. We changed the naming function just so there was clarity between the two. The original LumaGo pilot that was only in the city center on demand. Now, Access by LumaGo is a commingled service of both our paratransit and our microtransit service. I am happy to report, and I'm knocking on every piece of wood I can find, that both today, Monday, it's gone very, very well. We haven't had any issues with our paratransit clients or microtransit clients. It's working just as we had hoped. As our paratransit drivers go to pick or drop off, in between, they're also optioned to pick up microtransit trips. We hope to have data. Obviously, it's a little early for data as the schedule release was just on August 10th, but we're happy that our first is that we're not flooded with complaints or people missing their trips and that it's working. What we do see, though, is that the Access or the LumaGo portion for our people who are not paratransit or a vulnerable population, they're seeing longer wait times, more no ride available, which we anticipated as part of this, as this Access is really meant to be a safety net service for those that don't have other options, with both fixed route and paratransit only operating Monday through Friday, 6 to 6. The hours for everything are on our website, but happy to share that as well if there is questions. We've created a Access like how-to guide, although part of why it still says LumaGo is because we didn't want to change the app on everyone. So if you have the LumaGo app, it's still going to work. And as a paratransit passenger, all the phone numbers and the conventions of how you book trips still work. We're just adding new functionality with our paratransit riders now able to actually watch their trip in real time, watch it come to them. And so that's given them a level of flexibility as well as their ability to cancel rides in an online platform. In preparation for our next schedule update, which will be in January, we are doing community workshops. There's also a flyer in your packet for that. I'm going to ask that you spread that far and wide, because although we made these reductions here in August, we want to fine tune those reductions in January, not necessarily adding routes, actually continuing on this path of sustainability, but then as with some of our transit partners, working on things like on-time performance, working on smart connections. We also want to see in January an east to west connector, more access for SRJC to the smart station. So we have a lot on our plate, and that's why we're reaching out to the community. So these community workshops are meant to be half of a listening session about what you want to see or what the community needs in January, and then half just a how to ride with all these updates and changes. We had our first one on August 7th, and it was wonderfully attended. It was nice to hear everybody loves our drivers, but definitely had complaints about the service and where it's not going. And that's exactly what we want to hear. So that's our goal, is to hear what Petalumians want or need. In addition, our staff has been doing robust outreach to the schools, as ridership for our school trippers is pretty high. And we're looking forward to seeing them return to school. And I think that's all the updates on the schedule changes, but happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Maria. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the service changes coming up in September for Golden Gate Transit. Jessica.
Okay, so starting September 13th, we are reinstating the 172X, 2 trips in both directions. That was the biggest piece of feedback we got. Post mascots service changes, so we're excited to be able to bring that back and see how it performs. On Fridays, we'll be having a slightly different schedule. So we'll still have our 172X, 2 trips per direction, but we will be removing a couple of the 172s on Friday. And that, I think, other than some runtime adjustments, was our biggest change.
Great. Thank you, Jessica. All right. Any questions or comments on this item? And any public comments on this item? All right, seeing none, thank you all so much for the updates. Moving on, the next item is regional funding. And we have a quarterly status report for the Transportation Development Act, Article 3, and Transportation Fund for Clean Air Projects. This is the fourth quarter report, so all active projects are listed in the tables here, along with expenditures through the fourth quarter of FY26. If you have any questions on your projects, please reach out to Margot Ocañas. And this is just an informational item. So if anybody wants to bring anything up now, feel free to. Otherwise, could reach out directly to Margot. Any public comments on this item? Seeing none, let's go to move on to item 5.2. You should have all seen this, but just wanted to make sure that everyone's aware. MTC has a call for projects out for the Regional Measure 3 Safe Routes to Transit and Bay Trail program. That application is due October 5th, and it's essentially providing funding for connections to transit and the Bay Trail. And it looks like there's 75 million available for programming. Any questions from the committee on this? Any questions or comments from the public? All right, moving on. All right, the next item 6, is transit integration updates. So for the local Sonoma County bus operators, we've been continuing to work on the Sync Sonoma Transit project with our consultants. Mostly still continuing to work on data collection and kind of refining the work plan and process. We are also continuing to work with the website developers on the website unification project. And I will open it up and see if the bus operators have anything to add there. All right. Any questions from the committee on this topic? And any questions or comments from the public? All right, let's go ahead and move on to regional meetings report outs. This is a discussion item. If anyone in the group has anything relevant for this committee regarding regional meetings.
I got something.
Okay,
All right.
Go ahead, Rachel.
Yep. Here we go. So there was a regional network management council meeting on July 27th. So just wanted to report out on the items covered in that meeting. The first was an update on the regional mapping and wayfinding program, which we've all been tracking very closely, but just in case anyone needs an update on where that stands as we go into the pilot period for that project, MTC is currently executing contracts and agreements with a progressive design build contractor that will actually be the contractor delivering the pilots. So once that's done, they'll be starting to talk with the various agencies involved with the pilot projects about timelines. And so that'll certainly include our Sonoma County project and what that scope to look like. So that is coming up. The second item was an item on fair policy vision for the Bay Area. And so it was kind of a recap on progress that's been made on unifying fair policy over the past couple of years, coming out of COVID, but also looking forward to two of the items in kind of the Bay Area fair policy vision statement that haven't yet been acted on. The first is creating an all agency pass or fare cap so that there would be for the public, not just through Bay Pass, but like the institutional pass program, but for any member of the public to be able to access kind of a multi-agency pass product or fare capped product. That really relies on next gen Clipper being launched, being completed, but that's something that there's some interest in moving forward on. One thing that I brought forward and was echoed by a couple others was the concept of a sub-regional product. And that seemed to be of interest to the MTC staff, recognizing that pricing for a Bay Area wide product could be a bit high. And for some parts of the Bay Area where most of the travel is within a sub-regional area, as is the case in Sonoma County or Sonoma Marin, could we look at something sub-regional? We could certainly do that now within the Clipper rules, but having something that harmonizes with the overall Bay Pass and regional fare policy would be ideal. So that's something that was discussed. And then the third was, oh yes, harmonizing fares for regional services. So the concept for the regional providers, not the local services, but the regional operators having a fare structure that's harmonized among all of them, which seems like quite a lift, but that is a piece that there's still interest in pursuing under this fare policy vision for the Bay Area. That also relies on the completion of the next gen Clipper project. So that leads me to the third item discussed, which was an update on Clipper. And we've been all getting regular updates on Clipper, so I won't go into detail, but there was quite a bit of consternation expressed at the meeting about the delays and the hiccups that have happened with the launch of the next gen Clipper. And so that was the main focus of the conversation, was when are these things going to be resolved? They're creating some major issues for a lot of the larger operators. So that was the focus of that conversation. That's it. I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
I have a question. I got brought into this paratransit one seat ride stuff last week. Is that coming out of R&M work, or is that from, it is?
Yeah. Yeah, the paratransit one seat ride, like anything that's coming out of the Transit Transformation Action Plan has kind of been folded into the R&M. Yes, has been folded into the R&M work plan. So the paratransit one seat ride program is also under the R&M umbrella.
The mapping and wayfinding pilots, are those still on track for starting delivery sometime this year, or what times? Do they have an estimate of when those will roll out?
There was no specific estimate, but on the timeline that was presented, that was very high level. You know, right now they're executing the progressive design build contract with the idea that in the latter part of this year, they would start working on developing those pilots. So in that regard, I think we're still on track. Yeah, but I don't have anything more specific to our project.
Great. Yeah, I was looking at a timeline recently and wondering if
I think it's still good.
something's still, moving forward this year. Thank you. Any other regional meeting report outs? Any questions or comments from the public on this item? All right, let's go ahead and move on to transit operator updates. Let's switch it up and go to our Zoom participants first. Maria, would you like to start us off with an update from Petaluma Transit?
Yeah, I think that most of the update was in the presentation, just reiterating that we want as many people as possible to go to this community workshop. So please forward that on. In addition, we do have 5 new electric vans. They're not yet on the street, but those will be operating our access service. So look forward to seeing those all electric soon on the road. And hope to come back with some more data on our ridership in terms of how the transition went. That's it.
Great. Thank you. All right, Zoe, would you like to give an update on SMART? No, we still can't hear you. Let's come back to you, see if you figure out your audio. All right, Jessica, would you like to give an update on Golden Gate?
Sure, I'm prepared to give a ridership update. I'm going to do bridge and ferry first because we are going to be reporting bus a little bit differently than typical. So year over year, this is for June, we saw a 2% increase in vehicles going over the bridge and a 12% increase in ferry ridership. We have recently doesn't feel recent because it's been going on forever, but we are switching bus database ridership systems. And so I can no longer give year-over-year updates on bus because the numbers are just they can't be compared. But I can give you a pre-mascots, post-mascots update. So as of July, our bus system served about 170,000 riders, which was a 4% increase of pre-mascots, which is very exciting for us that even with all of our changes, not only did we not lose ridership, but we were able to invite more people to ride the system. And that's, I think, my update for Golden Gate.
Thanks. I just have a quick question on that, Jessica. Is that, so that's for the month of July? Is
That is for the month of July as compared to the month of March 2026, the
okay.
last full month of our
Yeah.
pre-mascot service.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. All right, Zoe, would you like to try again? See if your audio is working? No, still not hearing you. Sorry about that. All right, let's move on to the San Joaquin's Amtrak. David, do you have anything you'd like to give us an update on?
Yes. Good morning. Right now we are about maybe a week and a half behind with pushing out some of our recommendations for many of the routes that we have. We have a meeting with Dushban, who's working with us on the service led planning effort. And so I'm hoping that we have this online hopefully by the end of this week, maybe end of next week. Your comments between all of you guys, thank you very much for providing that. The next phase really, at least as far as recommendations are concerned, getting feedback from that would be incredibly helpful. But it also, if you've come up with other ideas, feel free to interject and let me know as well. So, too long didn't read portion. We're a week behind, week and a half behind. We should have the recommendations on the website pretty soon.
Great, thank you, David.
Dana, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh,
Success.
okay, great.
Can I go to Zoe?
Hold on one sec.
I just had one quick thing on the last report. So would it be possible to maybe through Dana have when those recommendations are available to have them just sent out to us or be notified that they're available and where to find them? I'm just a little bit afraid that if I'm on my own to remember to go look for them, that I might not.
Sure, I'm happy to share that with Dana.
That'd be
and
great.
Push that out.
Thank you so much, David.
Of course.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Zoe.
All good. Sorry for the technical difficulties here. So for SMART in the month of July, we had over 160,000 riders, which is a monthly record for us. A lot of that was due in part to additional service that was provided for Windsor's firework event, Kaboom, as well as the Marin County Fair. So that's very exciting. And then separately, this past Monday, SMART hosted a community meeting in the community of Geyserville related to consideration of a possible Geyserville station being included into SMART's program. The proposal was well received. And our board will be taking up consideration of this in this month at our board meeting.
Great, thank you, Zoe. Let's see, did I miss anyone? A little harder to keep track on Zoom. Okay, great. Any public comment on this item? All right, let's go ahead and move on to other business comments and announcements. Oh,
We
sorry.
didn't do our.
Oh my gosh,
That's
see,
okay. Yeah, we mixed it up. I just have,
Shouldn't mix it up. I should stick to my plan. Sorry about that. I thought that went quickly. I'll
well,
let you
it's
go
still going to
ahead.
go quickly, at least for me, but I just wanted to update that. We did kick off our short range transit plan update process with the city council study session on July 28th, where we went over our proposed approach to this update. As I've mentioned in past meetings, primarily the updates are focused on improving on-time performance and reliability in the city bus system, and then also improving connectivity to SMART as a next step from mascots. We're fiscally constrained, so that is going to require moving some hours around the system. We can't add any hours within our resources right now, so that is going to be a little bit of a challenge with this process. So we're going to be launching our public outreach next week with some survey work initially, to be followed up by some other engagement in the next couple months. So we'll keep you posted. That's really all I have.
Great. Thank you, Rachel. An update from Sonoma County Transit.
Sure. So on the ridership front, July was constant for paratransit and up 6% for fixed routes. That was great. We held some workshops a few weeks ago, I think since this meeting took place last, for our strategic plan, and they were very well attended in person. That was great to see people come out. We got a lot of good input. And we are inching closer to getting our 7 new electric buses on the road, waiting on Clipper to come do their installation. I think it might be the last thing. That's it.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, I will take it back. Any public comment on this item? All right, seeing none. Let's go ahead and move on to other business comments and announcements. I do have one item listed here, and that's save the date. We will have MTC coming to present on the transit priority roadway assessment and draft transit priority network. They'll be presenting to our technical advisory committee, but we are inviting other committees. I mean, transit TAC members are technically part of that committee as well. We're also inviting folks from our bicycle pedestrian advisory committee and our planning advisory committee. I know that the bus agencies have been on the TAC for this project, but there may be some great conversation kind of with the public works staff in the room on this draft transit priority network. So that's going to be at our TAC meeting on September 24th at 1:30 p.m. We'll make sure that the members of this committee get an invite, or we actually are already on there, but yeah, we'll send out a reminder as well once that agenda is out. But yeah, just want to give you a heads up and save the date on that. Any other comments or announcements? All right, thank you all so much. We can adjourn.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you.